Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel, thank you. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Perfect World based on novel. So let's start. During these past few days, he continuously pondered over the golden page. It was impermeable to fire and water, difficult to destroy. However, it didn't have symbols either, instead occasionally releasing Tao sounds. He couldn't comprehend it either though, which left him feeling rather helpless. Let's study it together, seeing exactly what is going on. The great demonic god accepted the golden book and said. The two of them tried all types of methods, but they were all useless. In the end, Shahao tossed this golden sheet into the first-sized pill furnace. There was water from the heavenly river inside, as well as immortal tomb's earth. They both contained endless lightning, as well immortal aura. Electricity crackled about. Lightning radiance shone unendingly. A shocking transformation happened to this golden paper. It absorbed the immortal Tao aura and shone resplendently within the electricity, becoming sparkling and brilliant. The grandfather and grandson were both shocked. The golden paper was covered densely in large amounts of bone texts. Even though they were all produced from electricity, it was profound and complex to the extreme. There was even a wave of supreme pressure. This is definitely the inheritance left behind by the dragon mastiff. The great demonic god said. His eyes were shining with excitement. Why do I feel like it is similar to when I faced the Kuan Peng technique? This is a supreme forbidden divine ability. Shahao was greatly shaken, formidable. Grandpa 15 also nodded. Us grandfather and grandson pair will completely comprehend it, and then we will join hands to sweep through those people in the secret realm. Shahao roared with laughter. His savage nature appeared again. Shahao and the great demonic god's eyes burned with passion. They stared at this great Tao divine book. This golden sheet was extremely special. It leapt upwards and fixed itself in the void. It shone brilliantly, the bone texts formed from lightning extremely concentrated. It was extremely brilliant, the power it released made one's soul pound greatly. It was as if a forbidden existence had revived and was overlooking the world under the heavens. Without thinking too much, one knew that its value was priceless. Activating it unexpectedly required the immortal aura inside the heavenly river and immortal tomb. This was just too shocking and unimaginable. If not for this, Shahao truly didn't know what it would have took to see these scriptures. The grandfather and grandson pair were both fascinated, submerging themselves within. They did everything they could to record all types of bone texts, and comprehend the supreme profound mysteries stored within. Neither the grandfather or grandson was stupid. When they saw this type of supreme lightning precious technique, they both wholeheartedly poured themselves in its cultivation. They were completely obsessed and forgot everything else. Grandfather, here, eat this stalk of medicine and then study it. We will be able to comprehend the lightning Tao precious technique the fastest this way, Shahao said. He fetched a foot-tall shrub that was entirely red, as if it was carved from a piece of carnelian, but even more translucent. It was like a red sun that released divine splendor. In addition, the shrub was covered in patterns and coiling with scarlet-colored lightning. It released waves of lightning sounds, as well as small amounts of mists. It was incredibly mysterious. The great demonic god was shocked. He naturally could sense the natural law fragments and immortal Tao energy inside this shrub. In terms of comprehension and cultivating, it was even more precious than holy medicine. Careful, you can only take in a little bit each time. Refine it slowly, or else the flesh cannot handle it. Shahao spoke from experience. Alright, us grandfather and grandson will cultivate this method here. When we emerge, we will work together to open up the greatest treasury in the secret realm. Grandpa 15 laughed loudly. Yes, who dares to ambush us? If there are any vicious beasts or divine birds, we will completely roast them and eat them. Shahao brandished his fists and spoke domineeringly. The great demonic god noticed that this grandson was more and more to his liking. He was worthy of being his own descendant. Shahao fetched a human head-sized mushroom himself, that was golden in color and crackling with lightning. There was a wave of fragrance wafting out with it. It was densely packed with symbols. Without a doubt, eating the strange plants on top of the immortal tomb was extremely dangerous. Regardless of whether it was Shahao or the great demonic god, they were both hacked rather miserably by the electricity. Shahao curled his lips. He felt that this stalk of medicine's effects were several times more powerful than even that of the stalk he ingested before. The immortal Tao energy was exceptionally rich, and the natural law fragments were more numerous. He was quite worried for his grandfather, but in the end, he found that even though the old man was bleeding all over and scorched black, he looked rather comfortable and delighted. He was given a fright. "Grandfather, you are okay, right? No harm. This type of forceful energy is the best for me, able to expel the yin energy in my bones. It actually feels quite good," the great demonic god replied. Soon after, the grandfather and grandson pair became quiet. One carried a carnelian-like shrub that was entirely surrounded by scarlet lightning, while the other had a large golden mushroom in front of him that was coiling with golden electrical arcs. They calmed themselves down. From time to time, they would devour a bit of the lightning wondrous medicine to help them comprehend the precious technique on the golden sheet. Following the passage of time, two spheres of light appeared here. The two individuals became indistinct, surrounded by great Tao fragments. They looked more and more mysterious. The aura that surrounded them was extremely shocking. Where the great demonic god sat, the lightning radiance was scarlet like a rainbow. Symbol light rushed into the heavens, forming a blood-colored heavenly sun. Then, it turned a golden color. Immortal Tao aura pervaded the air. In the end, it was as if there was primal chaos there. This was an astonishing transformation. During this process, they awoke from time to time, also because the golden paper grew dim. They needed to put it back into the pill furnace to have it absorb the lightning immortal Tao energy. This was a type of holy scene. A golden precious book was fixed in the void, its surface filled with scriptures, and radiating dazzling divine multicolored radiance. It passed down the profound mysteries that had existed since the ancient times. Meanwhile, below, the two individuals were calm and silent, quietly comprehending it. There were Tao fragments that spun all around them. The more time passed, the deeper their comprehension became. It was as if they had become one with the golden sheet, and were going to merge themselves inside. This really was something worth sighing in amazement towards. The immortal tomb's plants were too precious, able to allow one to comprehend the most profound mysteries in the shortest amount of time, helping them understand complex bone texts. A pair of wings appeared behind the great demonic god that were completely formed from lightning, scarlet and brilliant. When the two wings made contact, they erupted with endless lightning. It was incredibly terrifying. Around Shahao, plant life thrived. It was extremely astonishing, verdant and lush. All types of flowers blossomed in an incomparably brilliant manner. They were flowers of lightning that were shockingly beautiful. Then, all of the grass dried up. Like this, the cycle repeated. The plants withered and prospered. This was like a type of reincarnation, almost stirring up Shahao's unique precious technique reincarnation. In the end, all of the plants disappeared. Biting cold metallic energy appeared, and then both in front and behind Shahao's body, metal spears pierced towards the heavens. Then, sword energy shook the skies, causing metallic sounds to ring through the air. It was clear that after the flames before, there were the plants just now, and currently, he then comprehended the metallic energy within lightning. His understandings became more and more profound. Then, Shahao calmed down. He sat down and the spear disappeared. This was a type of comprehension. It was a great slaughtering power. The metal energy tore through everything like hacking through the rotten, destroying all great enemies. There were great Tao natural law fragments all around him, as well as immortal Tao energy. They merged together like a cocoon, making him appear especially unordinary. The golden mushroom he plucked from the immortal tomb contained shocking symbols. They contained wondrous effects, helping Shahao comprehend the lightning precious technique. He was becoming one with lightning. The sheet of golden paper shone. The bone text on its surface was extremely mysterious, with wisps of primal chaos pervading the air. It was shocking to the extreme. Shahao continued his comprehension. His benefits were huge. The lightning Tao and his own body merged together, allowing him to advance leaps and bounds in this field. In the end, it even appeared high up in the sky. This was an azure waterfall that descended from the void. It cleansed his flesh, producing a sparkling and resplendent expanse there. In the end, the river and waterfall formed a lake that continuously expanded. The entire void became a blue ocean that was exceptionally beautiful. Then, with a point of Shahao's finger, endlessly lightning erupted. The blue liquid became chaotic, engulfing all directions. This type of power was terrifying to the extreme. After the lightning transformed into fire, grass, and metal, the fourth transformation was this azure water. When one cultivated to this point, their achievement in the lightning Dao domain could already be considered extremely high. Many people, whose cultivation realms were higher than Shahao, would find it difficult to step into this domain their entire lives. In the realm of lightning Dao, this type of accomplishments should be considered lightning Dao for extremes. Shahao was still in the supreme expert realm, yet he already had this level of comprehension. It could be considered a rarely seen thing in this world. As his cultivation level became more profound, the four extremes power would become greater and greater. At that point, Shahao opened his eyes. The great golden mushroom had been completely refined clean. Meanwhile, that golden sheet had been completely read by him and remembered in his heart. He felt extremely content with his harvest this time. Grandpa 15 compared and merged the bone texts on the golden sheet with the demonic god inheritance he himself obtained in his earlier years, and as a result, he comprehended a different type of ferocious precious technique. Without a doubt, their rewards were tremendous. I really wished that this would continue for a bit longer. I feel like it is still missing a bit. Grandpa 15 said the same thing, feeling similarly. Grandfather, the two of us are of the same opinion. Just a bit further and my lightning precious technique can reach extremely great heights, Shahao said. Despite this being the case, the grandfather and grandson believed that this was already an extremely powerful great Dao precious technique that could overlook everything under the heavens. The bone text recorded on the golden sheet was suitable for all creatures to cultivate. There weren't any imprints locked to a specific race engraved on its surface. We should come out of isolation and see what is going on. What kind of background does that dragon mastiff have exactly? How did it obtain this golden sheet? Soon after, they received some news. Five Phase province knew a few legends about Origin Sky Supreme Being, and the cultivators that entered the secret realm naturally did everything they could to learn about it. Origin Sky Supreme Being might have entered a piece of ruins before he fell, and obtained some mysterious lightning Dao profound mystery from there. He had raised a lightning hound. Just from these two pieces of news, Shahao and Grandpa 15 immediately became stirred up, their eyes even lighting up. They were extremely hopeful, desiring the inheritance in the secret realm. Us grandfather and grandson should move and take a look at those other people, said Grandpa 15. The mountainous region was vast. Plant life flourished, with some ancient trees towering higher than even mountain peaks. They were incomparably thick, and shining vines descended from the treetops. A few pure-blooded divine birds made their nests atop these trees, the silver grass-woven nests shining especially brilliantly. Several hundred long titan snakes coiled about on top of the trees, from time to time spitting out their tongues towards those enormous nests. Their bodies also released especially terrifying dangerous auras. Shahao and his grandfather moved through the mountain forest. They stepped on the leaves that were several feet thick, carefully and prudently walking through this place. As soon as they passed an ancient cave, they startled a deity, a toad deity. It was a toad elite, but it was only the size of a round table. However, it was extremely dangerous, more so than those existences that lit their divine flames before. If they weren't powerful enough and their reactions weren't fast enough, using lightning to move through that mountainous region, they might have been directly eaten. They even suspected that it might have surpassed the divine flame realm. A blood-colored chain rushed outwards, immediately sweeping them away, sucking everything into that golden divine toad's mouth. That chain was its tongue. Supreme expert realm vicious birds, as well as several titan snakes, were eaten just like that. Even the great demonic god sucked in a cold breath of air. Shahao's eyes shone, beginning to burn with passion. This gradually proved one of his speculations. This toad elite might very well have surpassed the divine flame realm. The secret realm did not restrict its growth. He felt like during the endless passage of time, a few changes had happened to Origin Sky secret realm's natural laws that permitted even more powerful creatures to emerge. It was because he already sensed several times that the mountain ranges and Great Lakes contained auras of terrifying creatures, and these auras vanished in a flash. He already made this association when he saw the demonic blood ghost tree. He felt that its cultivation realm was too high, far exceeding the limitations of Origin Sky secret realm. I am not sure. The great demonic god shook his head. Based on the original plan, the two were still picking all types of spiritual medicines, as well as silver centipedes, golden scorpions, and other types of archaic unique bugs. These were all rare and precious ingredients for refining precious medicines. The grandfather and grandson needed these things. Shahao nodded and said, regardless, we should remain careful. Who knows, that Toad Elite and a few other creatures in the secret realm might be the greatest winners in the end. This secret realm had spiritual things everywhere. There were many divine bugs, and if they appeared in the outside world, they would all be treated as extremely rare things. Their value were all astonishing. In Shahao's heaven and earth pouch, old medicines appeared in piles. It was incomparably fragrant. The cauldron was packed with all types of strange precious bugs too. Apart from this, there were shining divine ore and other objects. This was the reason why he wasn't willing to go out. Soon after, they arrived by an area with many lakes. They saw many ancient remains, as well as heard a bit of shocking news. The bone symbol that appeared was fake. This left everyone stunned. Some people stayed behind. Inside the broken beautiful mountain peak, as well as the lakes that had been blasted dry, one could often find damaged weapons and divine objects. How miserable. A few exceptional talents were seriously injured. However, no one was killed. Truly sinister. The first bone symbol was the most important. Its value far surpassed that of the other talismans. The first one to enter Origin Sky Supreme Being's inheritance would obtain the most natural luck. However, Immortal Palace's young one, and that youth with the golden lamp suspended above his shoulder were not able to finish their intense battle. In the end, they unexpectedly separated, deciding to pursue other things and ultimately disappearing as a result. In the end, the other exceptional talents rushed over, and a bloody battle broke out. Some people were seriously injured, while others exhausted a use of a life symbol, being killed once. It really is rather treacherous. Shahao said. We need to be a bit more careful. The great demonic god nodded. In terms of battle strength alone, with the two of them walking together, they didn't fear others, but there were some methods one couldn't guard against. As for exactly who it was that set up this trap, everyone was discussing spiritedly. There was no way for them to be certain of who it was right now. 2 days later, the true bone symbol appeared, moreover 6 or 7 of them at the same time. It left others stunned, and a great battle erupted. Shahao and the great demonic god felt rather regretful. They missed out, because the two of them entered an ancient land to pick a rare holy medicine golden blood herb. It was entirely golden and a meter tall. It had many leaves. This was one of the main medicines in refining the Vajra elixir, or undying golden body elixir. Even if one didn't do a liquid extraction, and directly used it to refine the body, it would still possess astonishingly high value. Of course, the most important thing was that if it was used inside Stone Village's pill formulas, its value would be even higher. It could be used to refine the body, taking one's flesh on the path of divinity. We missed out on the bone symbol, but at least no one found out where the inheritance is. No one has entered yet. Shahao comforted himself. Opportunities will come. The great demonic god said. The grandfather and grandson both discussed things over, deciding to take the initiative to attack. True blood has appeared. Origin Sky Supreme Being's unrivaled precious blood has appeared. Right at this moment, a shouting sounded from the distance that startled everyone. Many people hurried over after hearing this, creating a huge uproar. When the grandfather and grandson rushed over, there were already people who had gone deep inside. There was an island in the lake where immortal mists wafted about. There was essence blood that radiated light. In addition, there was a gate of light that shone with incomparable brilliance. The place of inheritance. Someone cried out. There shouldn't be someone that thought of the same thing as us, right? Shahao said to himself and gave the great demonic god a look, revealing an expression of shock. The essence blood is real. Someone noticed a piece of crystal and shouted out. There was a drop of true blood sealed inside, and there were a few other crystals in front the gate of light that radiated scarlet multicolored light. Many people's eyes immediately became red. They rushed over. Everyone became a bit stupefied. Why was opening the place of inheritance so dangerous? It actually affected the people outside, making them tremble inwardly. Go, let's take a look. Right when everyone backed up, Shahao opened up the heavenly passage, and the great demonic god protected his body with black and white energies. The two used the moment the symbols weakened to forcefully ascend the island. At this moment, they saw an astonishing scene. When they closed in on the Gate of Light, they noticed that there was a world-shocking killing formation inside. The two exceptional talents were badly mangled, and one of them was immediately killed. He died with remaining grievance, unable to even see who his opponent was. He was completely killed by this terrifying formation. It was a horrifying sight. His body was split apart to pieces, ultimately turning into a bloody pile of paste. His sparkling white bones blasted apart, and a bloody rain scattered out. Shahao and the great demonic god hid themselves in the distance. They looked at each other, both of them shocked. All of this was done by this youth. I finally obtained a bone symbol. The youth was similar in age to Shahao, with a rather delicate-looking face. He said this to himself like this. You can go die for me. The second exceptional talent was about to take action. Since that's the case, then I have to send you on your way. This youth said softly. His eyes were quite bright. He walked forward. Suddenly, he stopped again. He looked towards Shahao's area and revealed a precautionary look. After muttering something, he revealed a sweet smile and said, Brother, how about we split things here? I'll give you guys the other bone symbol. After speaking, he turned around without any hesitation and ascended the transport formation he set up in advance, thus disappearing from this place. The great demonic god said, This little bastard really is sharp. He is extremely careful. Shahao also felt a wave of speechlessness. This fella was quite the character. In addition, they had the same ideas even without any prior consultation between them. This way is fine too. Shahao remained fearless, and even his eyes shone. This great competition between exceptional talents, this type of collision where everyone took action simultaneously, only something like this could produce the greatest sparks. He set his eyes on sun god vines, Jin Lai, and the vicious exceptional talent divine birds and ferocious beasts. The former was definitely comparable to holy medicine, while the latter's blood was even more so unimaginably precious. All of you can come at me. I am looking forward to the great battle. Shahao revealed a mouthful of snow-white teeth, wishing for the world to fall into chaos. The great demonic god was shocked. His divine senses were powerful and exceptionally sharp. He noticed that the one that was going to go back inside the Gate of Light was just a spiritual body. Even though that exceptional talent was extremely vicious, his true body was actually backing up, hiding in the darkness without entering. This was just like a cicada shedding its shell. It was clear that he felt that the apple-faced, bashful youth was extremely terrifying. Meanwhile, at this time, he also felt that something was wrong. He felt that there were others in the darkness, so he used the spiritual body to draw attention, while his true body left towards the distance to escape. Dao brother, your hiding method isn't bad, but we've seen through it, Shahao said. Do you really want to make us furious and immediately attack? Shahao calmly asked. The Holy Feather Race's exceptional talent's eyes were ice cold. He didn't say a single word. Killing intent seeped out from the corners of his mouth, his smile especially cold. Shahao felt that this person's response was a bit strange. He was clearly seriously injured, yet he still dared to act so tough and provocative. It didn't really seem right. Since you are scared, then get lost. The Holy Feather Race's exceptional talent said coldly. If you are someone who can have a proper conversation, I won't make things difficult for you either. I am a person who understands gratitude and grudges clearly. In the blink of an eye, the entire painting scroll became a real scene. Great stars fell, and the great sun blasted apart, submerging Shahao within. Careful. The great demonic god's face fell, and he shouted out this warning. This was definitely a terrifying secret treasure. It was a type of great killing weapon, if not for Shahao's heavenly passage power being shocking, able to weaken attacks, and wipe out all types of symbols. This attack alone would have put Shahao in an extremely unfavorable situation. Suddenly, Shahao was shocked. Before he even brought out the heavenly river, the 3 feet of the pill furnace began to shine. It formed a hazy void figure that began to devour the stars and exploded sun, neutralizing this attack. On top of the pill furnace swirled a true dragon. It unexpectedly began to shine here. This made Xiahao shocked. He had experimented with it before. He knew that this furnace was extremely mysterious, but when he activated it, there wasn't any terrifying offensive power, but its defensive strength was exceptionally shocking. There was unexpectedly another unique side to it, unexpectedly stopping a great killing weapon. The divine striking stone had previously joked that the fist-sized furnace's body might be carved from the bones of a true dragon. Xiahao refused to believe that at first, but now, it seemed like it should be some type of precious bone. The painting moved about, sending out falling stars, as well as that blazing sun, but they all disappeared, absorbed by that hazy true dragon. Holy Feather Race's exceptional talents' innate precious technique was contained in his pair of divine wings. Right now he erupted with endless killing Dao symbols, and his silvery white wings disappeared, turning into two divine blades. They weaved about and hacked down. How powerful! Xiahao was shocked. This pair of silvery white heavenly swords was unstoppable, actually slicing into his heavenly passage. Even though its speed quickly slowed, it could still injure him. Xiahao completely erupted. His blood energy surged, blasting the two silver divine swords flying. In addition, his heavenly passage became larger, erasing the symbols. Go on your way. Xiaohao's eyes flickered with cold light. He still never used the Kuan-Peng technique, or other secret methods, and instead erupted with endless lightning and covered everything in front of him with it. Azure streams appeared. They formed a lake, leaving the Holy Feather Race's exceptional talent greatly alarmed. His body was greatly affected, almost getting caught inside. Meanwhile, Xiaohao's hand shone. The golden battle spear shone, with heaven surging killing intent. His head of hair flew about chaotically, carrying endless golden lightning as he rushed over. After exchanging over 100 attacks, his head was pierced through by a spear, clean, decisive, and fatal. Even if he wasn't injured, he reckoned that he would still be in danger after 200 strikes. Holy blood ignition! He roared loudly. He was clearly extremely unwilling. He still had forbidden killing methods he wanted to use, but it was already too late. He already took on a fatal blow, and could not display them anymore. The beast tooth symbol appeared, wrapping around him and that painting scroll. Meanwhile, it also surrounded towards that sparkling white bone symbol. Hand it over, and go on your way. Xiahao sneered. He pointed out, and then azure lightning submerged that place. It also brought over the bone symbol. The beast tooth symbol had a type of spirituality. It quickly evaded and disappeared into the distance. Meanwhile, the great demonic god also killed the Holy Feather Race expert's spiritual body. After the great demonic god entered the higher realms, he suffered Heavenly Country's assassination, and was even chased after by a group of experts from the Chen clan. He barely made it out, suffering severe injuries in the process, almost dying in the process. In addition, when he was in Fiend Island, Xiahao had heard that the Chen clan's people almost strangled his grandfather to death. This made his blood burn with fury, to the point of near eruption. He found this extremely hard to bear. Others actually treated his grandfather like this. Grandpa 15 felt a wave of bewilderment. He was a man of steel with a heavy sense of righteousness, but he still didn't think about getting revenge, because in the end, he still had a grandson there. Let's not talk about Chen clan first. Heavenly Country's people have to be eliminated, said Xiahao. He knew that Heavenly Country's pair of male and female genius entered. They hadn't given up this entire time, always searching for his grandfather's whereabouts, wishing to eliminate him. His black hair scattered downwards. In his hands was a void battle halberd. He overlooked all of his peers, his figure exuding an intimidating pressure. At his side, Fairy Yu Chan's style was unmatched. Her white clothes fluttered about, beautiful like something out of a fantasy. Intelligent eyes rested on her sparkling white face. She looked forward. This perfect pair were like Daoist immortal companions. Xiahao was unmoving like a mountain. He stood in the void, his eyes clear and his skin sparkling. His only heavenly passage surrounded him, releasing an undying radiance. At his side, Grandpa 15's figure was imposing. His aura was oppressive like that of a demonic god. The great demonic god took a step forward, blocking in front of Shahao. Black and white energies appeared, forming a grey body protection array. He was going to take action in Shahao's place, because he felt that this person was too terrifying. "Let me take him on alone," Shahao said. He brought out the pill furnace, his killing intent surging. "You just entered the supreme expert realm, while he is already at the great circle. You are not his opponent right now." The great demonic god frowned, feeling incomparably worried. At this moment, that battle halberd slaughtered over. Deafening divine sounds ran through the air. Even though there was still quite a bit of distance between both sides, Immortal Palace, young great one was too extraordinary. The void halberd shone, becoming sparkling and translucent as it hacked forward. Shahao was insistent on taking action, using the pill furnace to face this attack. The great demonic god sighed and could only back up. However, he was carefully watching. He couldn't let anything happen to this grandson of his no matter what. Shahao was greatly shaken. He met this attack head-on with the pill furnace in his hand. His arm felt extremely numb, a great pain racking through it. It made him feel a wave of alarm. This person was formidable after all. This was the greatest enemy he encountered ever since he revealed himself to the world. Forget about everything else, just his flesh alone was already incomparably terrifying. He was just like a human-shaped true dragon with undying flesh. One has to understand that Shahao had defeated a few exceptional talents, yet now, he actually met this type of conclusion. However, a few people watched silently, for example, Grandpa 15, Fairy Yu Chan, and other exceptional talents. "No, you all are mistaken," an elder said. Scarlet light flowed about. Even though it looked like blood, it wasn't blood. There was still a figure there with its head still on its shoulders. A few people were astonished. They stared in that direction, revealing looks of shock. "What kind of precious artifact is this? It actually looks like there is blood flowing." An exceptional talent was shocked. Then his eyes began to shine brilliantly, as he stared at that fist-sized pill furnace. Right at that moment, Shahao erupted into action. He took the initiative to attack. His right hand that held the furnace lid smashed downwards. This furnace received the support of symbols. It quickly increased in size, becoming like a shield. It released a hazy radiance, and then scarlet multicolored lights surged. It was as if a true phoenix was undergoing rebirth, surrounded by flames. This strike carried Dao sound, as well as a vague phoenix cry. It startled everyone until their souls began to split apart. Many people gasped. This young Devil King was truly not simple. Not only was he unharmed, he even went on the aggressive to kill Immortal Palace's young one. He truly was brave and powerful. The furnace lid enlarged, turning into a sparkling true phoenix shield. It was brandished by Shahao, crushing downwards like a mountain. Yu Chan stood in the distance, her white clothes fluttering about, giving her an otherworldly appearance. Her beauty and style were unmatched. She was extremely shocked, her intelligent eyes sparkling with divine multicolored light, as they stared at Shahao. She felt like this person was a bit familiar, as if she was feeling some déjà vu. However, she couldn't see through this person. He used lightning and thunder to protect his body, and these techniques had never been seen before. She really was shocked. This person had just entered the supreme expert realm, yet he could already compete against Immortal Palace's inheritor. His flesh contained such world-shaking divine power, truly being able to overlook the higher realms. Her eyes flowed with radiance and erupted with five-colored divine multicolored light. She carefully stared at Shahao, watching his every move. On the other side, the great demonic god frowned. He was extremely worried. His grandson's cultivation realm was a bit lower after all, so he feared that he might suffer a disaster. This battle startled the entire secret realm. It was unknown just how many creatures hurried over. Meanwhile, when those conceited and arrogant exceptional talents obtained the news, those that could come all appeared. In addition, news of this battle quickly spread into the outside world. At the entrance of the secret realm, when someone appeared on the altar and brought news back, everyone became stunned. The young Devil King dared to compete against Immortal Palace's inheritor. This video will end here. Thank you for watching.